Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and this is a paid request for Phil. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, movie reviews, re-reviews, random thoughts, streams, commentaries, tier lists, rankings, whatever the case may be, video game playthroughs, reviews, re-reviews, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a Cash app as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. And this is for Ferris Bueller's Day Off from 1986, which I've always enjoyed. It was never my favorite John Hughes film. I do like the film. I would say I put Planes, Trains, and Automobiles as my favorite. I probably would put Weird Science above this. Maybe I put The Breakfast Club above this, maybe. But I do enjoy this film. I always thought it was a fun movie. It's a film I watched quite a few times when I was a kid. Although, for some reason, I watched an edited version. I don't know why. I think my aunt had sent us the tape when we were kids. And again, for some reason, some stuff was cut out, and I don't know why. So it's funny to watch this on DVD years later and see stuff. Oh wow, I never saw that bit, and I never saw that bit. Again, I don't know why. But, I thought the cast did do a really good job. That's one of the reasons I do like the film. And there are still moments that I thought were rather funny. And I have to think about that. I mean, I don't know if I like this or Breakfast Club more. I don't know. Yeah, I think about that. But Matthew Broderick is the film that people remember him the most, understandably so, because it was a interesting, fun character to see him play and be this guy that's the smooth operator and get himself in and out of trouble and in and out of situations, and he played that fairly well. I think he could never really shake that, because anytime you see him now, you just think of Ferris Bueller. And there are films he did afterward. I like Godzilla from 1998. I don't care what anyone says. I liked the film. I enjoy The Cable Guy, which he was in. But again, he'll always be Ferris Bueller. Alan Ruck, I love his characters, Cameron. Because I would say, while I think we all wanted to be Ferris, we were all Cameron. And that's the thing, is that we were all more close to the Cameron. And like his character, we're kind of taking on this ride with Ferris Bueller, showing us Chicago and all these other places on this day off that he takes. But again, we all want to be Ferris, but we're all more likely Alan Ruck's character. And maybe that's why he was always my favorite character in the movie. Plus, I think Alan Ruck just does a wonderful job, and his moments are still the funniest to me. My favorite scene is still the bit in the car when... I mean, do I need to explain the setup of Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Who knows? I probably still. Matthew Broderick's character fakes being sick, fools his parents. They bought it. Has like a keyboard that has different versions of coughing and puking. Very tech savvy. Even hacks into his computer to change the days he's been sick, much like he did in War Games, which I do like that film. That was a few years before this. And gets Alan Ruck, his buddy Cameron, to drive him. Picks up his girlfriend, Sara, who will later be in films like Time Cop, among others. And they go to Chicago and they do all these crazy things. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Jones, which I'll get to him later, he's the principal. He knows something's screwy with Ferris Bueller, and he wants to catch him in the act. And he doesn't want Ferris Bueller to get one over on him. Ferris Bueller's like this really popular kid at school. Everybody knows him, likes him, loves him, thinks he's dying, collects money for him. It's even on the water tower, Save Ferris. It's so popular with the kids. And Jennifer Grey plays Ferris Bueller's sister, and she's had it. She's tired of the shit. And you pretty much see her being pissed for the entire movie. Of course, Jennifer Grey, who was in Dirty Dancing and the original Red Dawn. Other people in the film, you have Charlie Sheen, of course. And the one bit where Jennifer Grey gets taken to the police station and he's there all drugged out. Drugs? No, I'm asked if you're here for drugs. No, why are you here? Drugs. Edie McClurg. She was the lady in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles who tells Steve Martin he's fucked after he's lost his rental car at the airport. She plays the principal secretary. Ben Stein plays the teacher who goes Bueller, which I always remember him from. There was a game show called Win Ben Stein's Money. That and this are always the two things I remember that guy from. But he's done other stuff too, Ben Stein. And, I mean, there's a lot of people. The guy who plays Ferris Bueller's dad, I remember he was in this 80s film called Creature from 1985. He was one of the stars of that film. The mom is Cindy Pickett, and she's been in movies throughout the years. One of the valet guys, because they go to Chicago, they take Cameron's dad's car, which is the California GT, like Ferrari or whatever, like this really nice looking car, and they take that car, and yeah, the Ferrari GT California. And Cameron's like, no, we can't do it. Okay, he loves his car more than me, which sadly is true. He never drives it. He just wipes it with a diaper. But yeah, Cindy Pickett, the mom, she was in stuff like Son-in-Law with Pauly Shore. She was in Deep Star 6 after this. Stephen King's Sleepwalkers. The dad is Lyman Ward. Again, he was in the 84, I thought it was 85 film, Creature. The Ben Stein was the economics teacher. I wanted to get the name. Richard Edson as one of the valet guys. He was in the 90s Super Mario Brothers movie. He played Spike. He's been in a lot of other stuff too, but I always remember him from that 90s Super Mario Brothers movie, which I do like that film. Christy Swanson, who's the original Buffy in the movie Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She plays one of the students. Another teacher is Del Close, who was the priest in the 1988 Blob movie. He was the preacher that gets burned, and then they set up for a sequel at the end with him. That never happened. But Del Close, he plays the teacher who's like really slow and just taking his sweet ass time trying to explain to the class. I didn't realize this, but Louis Anderson is in the film. There's a bit where Jennifer Grey's home and she opens the door and apparently someone hired like a hooker or something. Like, I heard you were, sick and with the chill. I'm the girl who likes to fuck. So one of the guys with that girl is Louis Anderson, who of course was he voiced the character in the cartoon My Life with Louie. He was in Coming to America, working at McDougal's, not McDonald's, McDougal's. Louis Anderson, comedian, been in a lot of stuff. For all this time, I didn't realize that was Louis Anderson. But I'm watching, like, God, that guy looks familiar. Oh shit, it's him. Now, of course, at this time, John Hughes was successful with The Breakfast Club and with Weird Science and other stuff. Now, I don't know if this is true. I've heard that, okay, the way John Hughes said, he always wanted Matthew Broderick for the role. Anthony Michael Hall would say, oh, he wanted me for the role, and then I said no, and that's one of the starts of their kind of separation as friends, because he said no to him. I don't know which is true. John Hughes is not here. May you rest in peace. I don't remember Curly Sue, but most of his films of John Hughes I like. 16 Candles I'm not a diehard fan of. I'm really not. I never thought that film was as good as people make it out to be. But Breakfast Club I really enjoy. Weird Science I really enjoy. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles will always be my favorite of his. Didn't she... I'm trying to remember. Did he do She's Having a Baby? See, now I gotta look it up. Of his films. Yeah, he did. Uncle Buck, I do enjoy that. Yeah, She's Having a Baby. I might have seen it. I don't remember a thing about it other than the end credits, because they had a shitload of cameos in that end credits. Because She's Having a Baby, they got like Dan Aykroyd, John Candy, Bill Murray, Michael Keaton. I think Elias Koteas, who will later be Casey Jones in the Ninja Turtles movie. I mean, I think he's in it. There's a lot of people in that end credits. Magic Johnson. But I want to hear the story about how the fuck he got all these people for this one. People just saying baby names. But anyway. But yeah, Uncle Buck. I do enjoy that film. And then there's a lot of films he had a hand in writing. So just like Mr. Mom. So maybe that's how he got Michael Keaton. Great Outdoors. Home Alone later on, Beethoven, Dennis the Menace, Baby's Day Out, Flubber, among other movies. And sadly, after Curly Sue in 1991, he just stopped directing, and I know that film didn't do well. Maybe he just lost interest in direction, whatever, because maybe it's like, hey, I don't really know how teenagers work today, but you don't need to. Like, Planes, Trains, Automobiles, to me, was your best film, and that dealt with adults, and give us more of that. But it is what it is, and what can you do? But I know I haven't talked about the specifics of the film, because the film, I think even John Hughes said it best. It's not really about the plot. It's just the characters, the way the characters react to just these things. Where honestly, you could take these events and rearrange them and still, be the film that it is. In fact, maybe that's not the case, because the stuff that they go through is I'm trying to think, like, they go to a building and they look down below to see how tiny everybody is. They, for some reason, go to the stock market. I know originally this was a longer film, like I think an over 2-hour film. And if you watch the trailer, there's stuff cut out that was in the trailer. Like, there's a scene in a locker room. My friend Fabio was just telling me he saw the trailer recently. He's like, yeah, Lara Flynn Boyle's in the trailer, but she's not in the movie. It's not in the movie, but apparently in the script, there's more to Charlie Sheen's character, where Ferris Bueller would mention this friend he used to have who squandered stuff, and I was like his only friend, and he had a tough life. He was cool, but his brother was scary. And he said his name, and then the reveal was that this guy would say his name, and Jennifer Grey goes, "Oh my God, you're the guy who my brother used to be friends with." That's why Charlie Sheen's character mentions Ferris. Oh, you know him. Because he used to be friends with him back in the day. But that was all cut out of the script. I don't even know if they filmed any of that. I think, but I know it was in the script. Also, there were more. Ferris Bueller and Jennifer Grey were not the only kids in that family. There were other kids. In fact, in the trailer, you see Cindy Pickett with like another kid, like a younger boy. Apparently, it was one of the other siblings. I think Matthew Broderick and Jennifer Grey had like a younger brother and sister, and those were completely cut out of the movie. And there was other stuff cut out. There was a scene where they ate pancreas at a restaurant. That's why later on, Ferris Bueller has that line, "We ate pancreas," because we actually saw that. So there's a lot more to the film, and they cut a lot out. And also apparently, like during the film, there was the parade scene where he sings Donka Shane and then Twist and Shout, and everyone's dancing. And then there's the museum where they're watching, and yeah, that bit with Alan Ruck and looked at the painting. Apparently, they edited where the parade was first, then the museum, and the test audience wasn't really gung-ho. Maybe because they saw this big grand steel event, and then now it's just kind of more quaint looking at paintings. But when they switched it, and they changed the music on it, then it got better test screenings. And apparently one, like John Hughes said, it was because they changed the music, and the editors or someone said, no, it's because the way we changed where it was located. The reason I'm going on about that is I think the editing in this is actually pretty good at times. Especially considering how much stuff they shot. I never would have known they had another brother and sister. But the way it's edited, it's clean on that front. You would never know there were two other kids that were in that household. Which I guess shows how non-essential they were to the story. And also the way they paced it with the editing. I mentioned that the painting stuff. There's a bit where Alan Ruck is looking at this painting, and there's like a mom and her kid. I think the idea is that Alan Ruck kind of sees this child who, I don't know, seems maybe scared, or he kind of sees a bit of himself reflected in it, and how it like goes back to him and the painting, then closer shot of the painting, eyes closer to that, and the way the music is used. Same with Twitch and Shout, where when the music's rising, they're cutting to different people, and even the little kid, I always remember the little kid covering his ears, which that would probably be me. Other than that kid's black. Hey, I am black. People told me I'm black too, so as you know, I've told people, you kiss my black ass too. But, so I'd be like that kid doing this. That'd be me. Black and all. But the way it's editing with the music, I thought it really got the peppiness of the pace in that. And the way it starts with like the breaking the fourth wall. I'm not saying it was never done before, because it was, but it wasn't usual like you would think of today of a person breaking the wall and talking to the camera like that. Deadpool was definitely influenced by that, which is why they did a big reference to it, where at the end of Deadpool, they do the Ferris Bueller ending. Sorry, I'm thinking on... I'm going all over the place. Let me take a step back. I always loved the way it opened. I love the way he's explained to the audience kind of his frame of mind. Like his rules of getting sick and what to do and what not to do. Just a unique way to introduce a character, especially in this time, which you would see in Cuffs with Richard Slater a few years later, among other movies. This might have been the first time I was introduced to MTV. Because whenever I think of MTV, I always think of the way it was introduced here, with like the astronaut and the chainsaw through the TV and the music. Dun, 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 dun. Just, we didn't have cable back in the day, so we couldn't see MTV. And I remember seeing this when I was fairly young. So again, I think this might have been the first film MTV I had seen. I'm like, ooh, cool, what's that? And the music is really good in this. The music is fantastic in this, the way it is. The music that they use when they introduce Ferris and he's in the shower. Who you love, do-do-do, do-do-do, who you love. It's like very quirky and it fits with the mood. When they're driving to Chicago, and it's like, and I can't remember the lyrics to these songs, so that's why I can't really sing them. But like, be down now, woo, be down now. And I mentioned the music at the museum, the singing of Twist and Shout, where everybody's getting booty with it. Even at the end, ooh yeah, during the end credits, boom, boom, just the music was very essential to this movie, and I think the whole soundtrack worked fairly well. Even when he's running at the end, which that's one of the scenes people remember the most, because it's been funny. This movie's been referenced a lot in movies in the past 10 years. As I mentioned, it was at the end of Deadpool, because when I first saw this film, I did not know there was something at the end credits where Ferris is saying, what are you doing here? Go home. Again, I never knew that because it was taped on a VHS tape. So that was cut off. So I never knew until years and years later when I got the DVD. I'm like, oh shit, there is something at the end here. Blew my mind. I'm like, holy shit, there's a scene I haven't seen I didn't know about for years. But that was at the end of Deadpool. They referenced that. Spider-Man Homecoming, they referenced the chase when Ferris is going through and looks at the ladies and that music that plays. Spider-Man is doing the same thing and, again, heavily referencing Ferris Bueller. Then that shitty Ninja Turtles film, Mutant Mayhem, they're watching a drive-in theater and Ferris Bueller is playing. I'm like, don't reference. That's a much better movie than your piece of shit, Mutant Mayhem. And I'm a big Ninja Turtles fan, but that movie sucked dick. It was a piece of shit. It could eat shit and die. Or eat shit and live, so it could suffer. Whatever the fuck. Fuck Mutant Mayhem. But anyway. I mean, I don't know. The more I'm talking about it, maybe I probably would put in my top 3 John Hughes films. It probably would be Planes, Trains, Weird Science than this one. Because there's a lot to like about it. Again, Matthew Broderick's character could be considered a guy who's very selfish and uses people for his own gain. But he does show he cares. Like when he thinks his friend is dying after dropping himself in the pool. Or the thing with the car and he's ready to take the hit. And I think he would have. But then the point is that Alan Ruck is going to stand up to his dad. And I do think he's got a charm to him that works very well. And you see why people... the other people within the film find him likable. Sara, she doesn't have a whole lot to do, but, she works for what she needs. Like I said, Alan Ruck is my favorite. The scene when he's told to go over and he's debating in the car is like, he's going to keep calling me. He's going to keep calling me. Made me feel guilty. Okay, I'll go. Starts the car. God damn it! Then he starts the car like, ah! I still laugh my ass off every fucking time I see that scene. Because it's just so... like, I could see myself doing the same damn thing. And then he gets out, and he's going to go back, but then he's going to go back to the car, and he's jumping, and he's like shit. I know how it is to be that indecisive about stuff. There are lines in this movie I have stolen. For example, when Ferris is describing Cameron, he says, "He's so tight, if you stuck a coal up his ass, in 2 weeks you have a diamond." I've stolen that line quite a few times. I love the bit when he has to call and pretend to be Mia Sara's dad while Ferris is on the other line. And just the way Alan Ruck pretends to be that the character and the voice he uses. And I like these faces he's making on the phone, even though the guy would never see the face. But, "Listen, Buster, you hear me?" Sorry, I know that was dead air, but I guess, not because of my sinuses, fucking annoying. But I kind of watch it again. It's funny, there's a point where Ferris Bueller asks him, I mean, how do you be still depressed? What? Think about all the stuff we've seen today. What have you seen today? Nothing much. And he's like, "Nothing much." And he's like, "Nothing much." And I'm sitting there going, yeah, you know what? If I was him, I kind of would feel the same way. I mean, like John Hughes said, it's not the plot, it's the characters. The characters are what makes it fun. The characters are what make it entertaining. Even when they're at the stock market and Alan Ruck is making fun of all the fingers people do and then does the Three Stooges thing. That's what makes that fun. But when you looked at the events, okay, they went to a tall building and they looked down. They went to the stock market, and it's like, for what reason did they go? Again, I wonder if more stuff was cut out. They went to a baseball game. I don't like baseball, so I wouldn't enjoy that. They went to a restaurant where Matthew Broderick conned his way into it. And they went to a museum. Nice looking paintings. But I don't know. For me, would that have been a grandiose day for me? Not really. It really wouldn't have. But I mean, maybe that's just all you could do in 1986. But it's just one of those where I'm like, damn, this is all we're doing today? This seems like a shitty day. That's just me, though. So I think that's where it kind of... I love the setup more than when they're going through the day. The day is fine, because of the characters. And it's fun to see Jennifer Grey and how pissed she gets and all the other stuff. I'm like, they don't, the stuff they're doing, it's not really that exciting, if that makes sense. Also, I haven't talked about this guy, Jeffrey Jones. Granted, he's playing the villain, so you definitely hate him. But God, he's in it so much, and he has a good chunk of time in the movie. And each time I see him, I want to puke in his face. I want to piss down his fucking throat and rip his fucking head off and fuck the fucking stump. I hate Jeffrey Jones. I hate that guy as a person. He is a pedophile. He was found with child pornography. You're a piece of human trash that I never ever want to see again. I had no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I made no bones to pick on that. I mean every word of it, and there is no forgiveness for that. That is a vile thing to do. I hate that he's in this film so much. I wish it was an actor like John Lithgow or someone else as the villain. Now it's not the movie's fault or it's not John Hughes' fault because they didn't know Jeffrey Jones would be that. So it's not fair to blame the movie for that. It's when I rewatch it, and granted, yeah, you rewatch it, he's the bad guy, so it's fine. You hate him, but it's just that each time he's on, I just fast forward it. I do, and that's a chunk of the movie to fast forward through. And you may say that's not fair, but that's me being honest when I watch the film today. And sadly, I think if anything tarnishes that film today, it's him. Now, I get it. There's the art, and then you separate the art from the artist. I get that. Sometimes I can do that. Sometimes it's tougher than others. You give plenty of examples, and I'll say the same thing. Sometimes I can. Sometimes it's harder to do. This is one of those things that's harder to do, and again, I just fast forward through his scenes. Like, I don't want to stare in the face of a guy who fucking read child pornography. Do not. So, I do like Edie McClurg as a secretary. I think she has some very funny moments. Like, she's been put on the phone and she doesn't know what to say. She's like, oh. It's like, Ed, come on. Like, she's really good. Or the fact that, like, she keeps finding pins in her hair. Or the way she describes all the people that like Ferris Bueller, the dweebs, the dickheads. They all think he's a righteous dude. Because Edie McClurg just has that vibe and that voice and just works for that. She was also I think she was in Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. But I always liked her as an actress. I always thought she did good work. So it was nice to see her. So I watch her for some of those scenes. The Charlie Sheen bit is fun. I mean, people make it like a bigger deal than it is. It's a fine scene. But, like, people kind of make it like it's fine, but people make it as if it's this much more grander scene than it is. It's, like I said, the scene works and is fine. And, yeah, when my aunt sent us the tape when we were kids, the edits she would make was weird. For example, there's the bit where they find out that the car was taken and there's like 3,000 miles on it. And then they're trying to get the speedometer to change. They're not. For some reason, the tape was edited where Alan Ruck goes, "I never say anything." Then it cuts to, for some reason, she cut out the bit where he's kicking the headlight out. And just jumps to when he's on the car and it goes out the window. And then Ferris Bueller goes, "You killed the car." And they look down. And they're like, and Alan was like, "Oh shit." Then it cuts to pretty much when Ferris is getting ready to run and you have that chase scene. For some reason, the bit where Alan Ruck is like, "Nope, I'm going to take the stand. I'm my dad will have a little talk." And like the camera goes towards his face. That was always cut out, so I never saw that when I was a kid. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know if it was like, maybe it was like a TV version she recorded. Because, I mean, I don't have that tape anymore. Maybe it was no, that can't be. A TV version would not cut that out. That's a pretty important part of the fucking story. There's a funny bit someone did as an edit where when it pushes to Alan Ruck's face, in the corner they put born, blah, 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 died, 1986, as in when his dad came home, killed him. Which maybe that's what happened. Maybe that's what happened. That's why you can't do a sequel to Ferris Bueller because Alan Ruck's character was murdered when his dad went home and threw his ass out the window too, to his death. So, yeah, I think Cameron died that night. But, I mean, it would have been nice to see what happened to the characters afterward, because I liked these characters a bit, but I'm not saying we need a sequel. But it would have been nice to see a little bit. I think at the end I would like to have a little bit more of closure. Like when Ferris Bueller gets home, Jennifer Grey sticks up for him in front of the principal. I guess she's more easygoing because she met Charlie Sheen's character. But at least one like Jennifer Grey and Matthew Broderick don't have really one conversation with each other. It's just that she goes, "Come on in," and then Matthew Broderick doesn't say anything. I would have liked at least one conversation for the two to share at the end. That would have been nice. Or getting a call and hearing from Cameron, but maybe they felt that would affect the pacing, and it is what it is. I do like his line, "Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you can miss it." Which is true. But it's still a fairly fun film. Like I said, great soundtrack, fun characters, still some pretty funny moments. There was a TV show for some reason. Well, because the film was popular, so they thought they could capitalize and make a TV show. I think Jennifer Aniston. And what's funny, I got requested a while ago, like the first or so, I think the first 2 episodes. I know it sucked, but I don't remember any of the details. I think Jennifer Aniston was in it. Who knows, babe? I'll do request the other episodes one day. Who knows? But that show sucked. It didn't last long for good reason. And then, like I said, there's been references. Matthew Broderick did a Super Bowl commercial where he played Ferris, but this time it's his day off work. So that occurred. Yeah, overall, the film did well. Made a decent amount of money. It might have been the top 10 of the year of 1986. I know it did make a good chunk of change. And I think after this, John Hughes would do Planes, Trains, Automobiles. I think he would. Because I think that was 87. And then I know Uncle Buck would be later. But because I think this is kind of his last teen movie. But I mean, it's a good way to end it on if that's the case. But I'm sure there was talks to doing a sequel at one point, but yeah. Probably be best to not do. I mean, again, part of me is I would like to have seen what happened to these characters later on in life. The other part is none of it's a shitty movie. But overall, still a fun film. What would be nice is to see all of that deleted footage. To see, I mean, I think a lot of that footage of the Breakfast Club got out. No, was it the Breakfast Club? I know Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, some of that deleted footage did get out, and I think you might be able to find a fan cut where a lot of that deleted footage is put back in. It's not every deleted footage, but it's a good amount of them. Hopefully one day, Ferris Bueller, we see that deleted footage. That'd be cool to see. Whatever that footage may be. That's what I would like to see. But I don't know. I've heard that John Hughes' widow or someone has it, but like I don't know what you're waiting for. The anniversary is next year. Because, yeah, it's 86, 96. 86, 96, 06, 16. Yeah, 40th anniversary, yeah. 40th anniversary would be a good time to do it. Yeah. Just saying, I'd be curious to see it. But who knows? Well, I mean, 86 was a great year. I mean, 86, I've said, is one of my favorite years. Aliens, Cobra, The Golden Child, Big Trouble in Little China, Maximum Overdrive, like so many films of 86 I love. But anyway, going on far enough, it was like 40 minutes. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.